The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within hours of Commander Zef-7's urgent transmission. The same 12 beings who had confidently voted to quarantine humanity now sat in stunned silence as they reviewed the corrected data from the Earth survey. Mission Chancellor Morth Prime activated the main display, showing the Wolverine encounter footage for the third time. Commander Zef-7, are you certain this data is accurate? This creature weighs only 20 kilograms? Confirmed, Chancellor. And according to human records, Wolverines are not considered their most dangerous predator. They rank below several other species in terms of human threat assessment. Below? Counselor Vrak 9 of the Regelian Empire sounded shaken. What could possibly be more dangerous than a creature that attacks armored opponents 10 times its size? Polar bears, grizzly bears, saltwater crocodiles, and several species of large cats, Commander Zef-7 replied, all of which humans encounter regularly and have developed protocols for managing rather than avoiding. Dr. Vex 4 stepped forward at his commander's signal. Honored counselors, we have fundamentally misunderstood both Earth's ecosystem and humanity's relationship to it. We interpreted human caution as cowardice, but the evidence suggests something far different. Explain, Chancellor Morth Prime demanded. Humans don't fear their predators. They respect them. The difference is crucial. Fear leads to avoidance. Respect leads to preparation and coexistence. Humans have developed technologies, strategies, and cultural practices specifically designed to share their planet with creatures that would challenge our most elite military units, Counselor. Quinn 2 of the Taucedian Republic activated her personal display. I've been reviewing the biological data independently. Commander, are you telling this council that humans routinely camp, hunt, and conduct research in territories inhabited by these Wolverines? Not just Wolverines, Dr. Vex 4 replied. They actively seek out such environments. They call it wilderness exploration and consider it recreational activity. Human children are taught from an early age to identify, understand, and coexist with predators that would terrorize most galactic species. Show them the grizzly bear data, Commander Zef-7 ordered. The display shifted to show footage of a massive brown bear, easily 400 kilograms of muscle and claws. But instead of showing the bear alone, the video depicted a human researcher tagging the sedated animal for study purposes. This human is handling a creature capable of running 60 kilometers per hour and delivering strikes with over 200 kilograms of force, Dr. Vex 4 explained, for scientific research. The human is not afraid, he's curious. Counselor Dex 3 of the warrior clans leaned forward, his interest clearly piqued. What about their combat effectiveness? Have humans actually fought these predators? Extensively, Commander Zef-7 replied. Human history is filled with documented cases of individuals killing apex predators in hand-to-hand combat. Bears, mountain lions, wolves, even sharks. They don't just survive encounters with these creatures. They actively hunt them when necessary. Hunt them. Counselor Prism 5 of the Silicon Confederacy sounded incredulous. Humans hunt predators that would challenge our security forces. Successfully, Dr. Vex 4 confirmed. For thousands of years, they've developed specialized techniques for hunting every major predator on their planet. Not from necessity, humans can farm their food. They hunt dangerous predators because they can. Chancellor Morth Prime consulted his datapad, reviewing the original assessment. Commander, your initial report stated that humans were psychologically fragile cowards unsuited for galactic contact. Are you now telling us the opposite? I'm telling you we encountered a species so comfortable with danger that our presence didn't even register as threatening, Commander Zef-7 replied. When beings who live alongside Wolverines and grizzly bears look at our survey team, they see just another potentially interesting species to study. But what about their fear responses? Asked Counselor Hex 7 of the Beta Centauri Alliance. Your original data showed clear evidence of human terror. Misinterpreted, Dr. Vex 4 admitted. What we identified as terror was actually heightened awareness and preparation. Humans don't panic when they encounter predators. They become more focused, more alert, more ready to respond. It's a combat readiness state, not a fear response. Counselor Vex Prime of the Academic Collective activated his recording equipment. This has profound implications for our understanding of predator-prey relationships. Are you suggesting that humans have transcended their position as prey entirely? They never were prey, Commander Zef-7 said firmly. Humans are apex predators masquerading as a civilized species. They conquered their planet not through technology, but through sheer determination and refusal to submit to any other species. The technological development came after they established dominance, Dr. Vex 4 added. They didn't need advanced weapons to defeat creatures like wolverines and bears. They did it with primitive tools, tactical thinking, and absolute refusal to retreat. Chancellor Morth Prime called for order as murmurs spread through the council chamber. What are your revised recommendations regarding human membership in the Federation? Commander F7 straightened to his full height. Immediate acceptance with full membership privileges. Furthermore, I recommend fast-tracking them for inclusion in Federation military operations. Any species that considers Wolverine territory suitable for camping trips possesses a psychological resilience we desperately need. Military operations? Counselor Vrak 9 sounded surprised. Consider the implications, Dr. Vex 4 explained. When Federation forces encounter hostile environments or dangerous wildlife, our standard protocol is overwhelming technological superiority or complete avoidance. Humans walk into Wolverine territory with minimal equipment and consider it entertainment. Their children, Commander F7 added, actively seek out interaction with predators. They have entire industries devoted to bringing humans closer to dangerous animals. What we interpreted as elaborate defensive measures are actually recreational activities. Counselor Dex 3 was studying combat footage from human history. These beings fought large predators with spears and clubs, and won consistently. Our warriors use plasma weapons against creatures half as dangerous. There's more, Dr. Vex 4 continued. Humans have spread to every environment on their planet, including those dominated by apex predators. Arctic regions with polar bears and wolverines, jungles with large cats and venomous snakes, oceans with sharks and other dangerous marine life. They didn't avoid these environments, they conquered them. And now they're looking to the stars, Chancellor Morth Prime observed quietly. With the same attitude they brought to Wolverine country, Commander F7 confirmed. Unknown environments don't frighten them, they excite them. Dangerous situations don't drive them away, they draw them in. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. A species that had conquered one of the most dangerous planets they'd ever surveyed was now preparing to expand into space with the same fearless curiosity they'd shown toward their own world's predators. Vote, Chancellor Morth Prime declared. All in favor of immediate acceptance of humanity into the Galactic Federation, with full membership privileges. 12 hands rose without hesitation. Motion carried unanimously. Commander F7, you are authorized to make formal contact with the human government. Inform them that the Galactic Federation not only welcomes their membership, but considers them a valuable addition to our community. As the quantum link closed, Commander F7 felt a mixture of embarrassment and profound respect. The species he had dismissed as cowards had taught him the most important lesson of his career. True strength wasn't about size or advanced technology. It was about the refusal to be intimidated by anything the universe could throw at you. Down on Earth's surface, in the frozen forests of Canada, Wolverines continued their endless patrol of territories they would defend against any threat, no matter how large or well-armed. They had no idea that their fearless example had just secured humanity's place among the stars. In the galaxy's vast catalog of intelligent species, humans would forever be remembered not as the beings who feared their planet's predators, but as the only species brave enough to share a world with Wolverines and call it home. The universe had just gained its most fearless explorers, and nothing would ever be the same. The ship's analysis chamber had been transformed into a war room. Multiple holographic displays showed Earth's wildlife from new perspectives, while the alien crew worked frantically to reanalyze data they had previously dismissed. 3 days had passed since the Wolverine encounter, and each hour brought more disturbing revelations about what they had missed. Run the grizzly bear analysis again, Commander F7 ordered. His earlier confidence completely evaporated. This time, focus on documented combat behavior, not just physical specifications. Dr. Vex 4 manipulated the controls, and a new profile materialized. Sir, when analyzed for aggressive behavior rather than size, the picture changes dramatically. Grizzly bears aren't just large omnivores. They're apex predators capable of running 60 kilometers per hour, climbing trees and delivering strikes with over 1,200 kilograms of force. Show me their territorial behavior, F7 demanded. Mother bears with cubs have been documented attacking anything they perceive as a threat regardless of size. They've charged vehicles, construction equipment, and groups of armed humans. Like Wolverines, they show minimal retreat behavior when defending territory or offspring. Lieutenant Crix II looked up from her own research station. Commander, I've been reviewing the human response to grisly encounters. They don't just run away. They've developed complex protocols for coexistence. Bear spray, noisemakers, food storage procedures. They're actively managing their relationship with these predators. Managing, Zeph-7 repeated slowly. Not avoiding, managing. The same pattern appears with mountain lions, added Weapons Officer Tan-5. Humans have documented over 100 attacks per year, yet they continue hiking, camping, and living in mountain lion territory. They've adapted rather than retreated. Dr. Vex-4 activated another display showing a pack of wolves. Sir, I need to correct my previous assessment of wolf behavior. These aren't simple pack hunters. They're highly intelligent predators with complex social structures and problem-solving abilities. Some packs have learned to coordinate attacks on prey animals weighing over 500 kilograms. But humans drove them to near extinction, Crix II pointed out. That suggests fear. No, Dr. Vex-4 replied grimly. It suggests warfare. Look at the historical records. Humans didn't flee from wolves. They systematically hunted them down using coordinated military tactics. That's not the behavior of a fearful species. That's the behavior of a competing apex predator. The bridge fell silent as this new perspective settled over them. Humans hadn't cowered from their planet's predators, they had fought them. And won. Technician Yorp 9, Commander Zeph-7 called. What have you found about human-shark interactions? Fascinating data, sir. While humans do fear shark attacks, they continue swimming, surfing, and diving in shark-inhabited waters. More significantly, they've been studying sharks up close, tracking them, even swimming alongside them for research purposes. Swimming alongside apex predators, Zeph-7 murmured. For research. There's more, Yorp 9 continued. Human researchers regularly handle venomous snakes, study poisonous spiders, and work in close proximity to creatures that could kill them. They call it field research, and it's considered a normal part of scientific advancement. Chief Medical Officer Plex 8 activated her own display. Commander, I've been analyzing human physiological responses to danger, and the pattern is remarkable. When faced with predators, humans don't just flee, they fight back. There are documented cases of humans killing bears, mountain lions, and even sharks with improvised weapons. Improvised weapons? Tan-5 leaned forward with professional interest. Rocks, sticks, bare hands in some cases. A human killed a mountain lion with a pocket knife. Another strangled a wolf to death. These aren't trained warriors. These are ordinary civilians who refuse to become prey. Dr. Vex-4 was running new calculations on his datapad. Sir, if we factor in actual behavioral patterns rather than just physical capabilities, Earth's predator population becomes terrifying. This planet doesn't just have dangerous animals, it has an entire ecosystem of creatures that refuse to back down from anything. And the humans live alongside all of this, Crix II added quietly. They camp in bear country, hike through mountain lion territory, swim in shark-infested waters, and work in regions inhabited by wolverines. They don't just survive, they thrive. Commander Zeph-7 activated the main display, showing a map of Earth with predator distributions marked in red. The entire planet was covered in overlapping zones of dangerous wildlife. Look at this, he said. Every continent, every climate zone, every major habitat has apex predators that would challenge armed galactic forces. And humans have spread across all of it. Sir, Dr. Vex-4 said hesitantly, I need to ask a difficult question. If humans aren't afraid of creatures like wolverines and grizzly bears, what does that say about their assessment of us? The question hung in the air like a physical presence. For the first time since arriving at Earth, the alien crew began to consider how they might appear to beings who casually coexisted with some of the most relentlessly aggressive predators they had ever encountered. They've been watching us for days, Crix II realized. Our ship isn't invisible to their detection systems. They know we're here, and they haven't responded with fear or aggression, Tan-5 added. They're just observing. Because we don't register as a threat to them, Dr. Vex-4 concluded. To a species that lives with wolverines and grizzly bears, a ship full of aliens might seem relatively harmless. Commander Zeph-7 thought about his presentation to the Galactic Council, his confident assertions about human cowardice and weakness, Every word now seemed not just wrong, but dangerously ignorant. Technician Yorp 9, show me human exploration records. How do they respond to unknown environments? Sir, humans have a documented pattern of exploring every environment on their planet regardless of danger. They've climbed the highest mountains, descended into the deepest caves, explored Arctic wastes and tropical jungles. When they encounter new predators, they study them. Study them, Zeph-7 repeated. Not avoid them. Study them. The pattern extends to their space exploration, Yorp 9 continued. They've sent crews into the vacuum of space, landed on airless moons, and planned missions to planets with hostile environments. Their response to the unknown is investigation, not retreat. Dr. Vex 4 looked up from his analysis. Commander, I've been reviewing footage of human children, and it's disturbing. Their young actively seek out interaction with dangerous animals. They're fascinated by predators, not frightened. Zoos, wildlife parks, nature documentaries. They deliberately expose their offspring to images and experiences involving dangerous creatures. They're training them, Plex 8 realized. Human children learn about predators not to fear them, but to understand them. Which explains their response to our presence, Crix 2 concluded. We're just another unknown predator to be studied and understood. Commander Zeph-7 walked to the viewing port and stared down at Earth. The blue and green world looked the same as it had days ago, but his understanding of what lived there had been completely transformed. This wasn't a planet of harmless creatures and timid humans. This was a world where some of the most ferocious predators in known space coexisted with a species brave enough to claim dominance over all of them. Dr. Vex 4, he said finally, prepare a new analysis. I want a complete reassessment of Earth's ecosystem and humanity's place in it, and send a priority message to the Galactic Council. What should I tell them, sir? Zeph-7 continued staring at the planet below, where 8 billion humans went about their daily lives surrounded by creatures that would terrify most galactic civilizations. Tell them we've made contact with a species that lives on the most dangerous planet we've ever encountered. And they're not afraid of it, they've conquered it. The implications were staggering. If Earth's wildlife represented a serious threat to armed galactic forces, and humans had not just survived but dominated that ecosystem, what did that say about humanity's potential as a galactic power? For the first time since arriving at Earth, Commander Zeph-7 began to worry that the Galactic Federation might need protection from humanity, not the other way around. Back aboard the survey ship, Dr. Vex 4 and Lieutenant Crix 2 sat in stunned silence as they uploaded their encounter data to the main computer. The rest of the crew had gathered in the analysis chamber, drawn by reports of an unusual incident during the final surface mission. Run it again, Commander Zeph-7 ordered, his 4 eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the Wolverine's attack. There must be an error in the recording. I've checked the data 3 times, sir, Dr. Vex 4 replied. No errors. That creature weighing only 20 kilograms deliberately attacked 2 armored opponents 10 times its size without any provocation. Impossible, declared Chief Medical Officer Plex 8. No rational creature would behave that way. Even the most aggressive species in known space show some self-preservation instinct. That's what I thought too, Crix 2 said quietly. But watch its eyes during the attack. There's no fear, no hesitation, no doubt. It intended to kill us if it could find a way through our defenses. The hologram replayed the moment when the Wolverine's face was inches from Dr. Vex 4's helmet. Even through the recording, the creature's absolute determination was unmistakable. Every alien in the room felt an involuntary chill at the sight of those dark, furious eyes. What species is this? Commander Zeph-7 demanded. Why wasn't it included in our initial survey? Because it weighs 20 kilograms, Dr. Vex 4 admitted. Our protocols focus on major predators. This creature shouldn't have registered as significant by any normal standards. Run a full database search, Zeph-7 ordered. I want to know everything about this animal. Technician Yorp 9 began accessing human information networks, compiling data about Wolverines. As the information flowed across the displays, the alien crew's expressions shifted from skepticism to amazement to outright disbelief. According to human records, Yorp 9 announced, this species is called gulo, commonly known as the Wolverine. They're the largest member of the weasel family, found primarily in remote Arctic and subarctic regions. Weasel family? Crix 2 repeated. We were attacked by something related to weasels? The data gets more interesting, Yorp 9 continued. Wolverines are documented attacking and driving off much larger predators, including bears weighing up to 400 kilograms. They've been observed stealing kills from entire wolf packs. That's impossible, Weapons Officer Tan5 interjected. A 20-kilogram animal cannot dominate creatures 20 times its size. Yet here's video evidence from human sources, Yorp9 replied, activating a new display. The hologram showed a wolverine confronting a black bear 3 times its size. Instead of fleeing, the wolverine advanced aggressively, forcing the much larger predator to retreat. By the 7 moons, breathed Dr. Vex 4. It's not an anomaly. This is normal behavior for the species. More videos followed. Wolverines driving wolves away from fresh kills. A single wolverine attacking a mountain lion and winning. Most shocking of all, footage of a wolverine pursuing a bear for over a kilometer through deep snow, relentlessly harassing the larger animal until it abandoned its territory entirely. Sir, Medical Officer Plex 8 said slowly, I'm reviewing the physiological data from our encounter. The wolverine's muscle density is extraordinary. Its bite force ratio exceeds that of most apex predators we know, and its metabolic rate suggests it can maintain high-intensity activity far longer than creatures twice its size. What about their hunting behavior? Commander Zef7 asked. Though his voice had lost much of its earlier confidence, Yorp9 pulled up more human records. They're documented killing prey animals much larger than themselves. Caribou, deer, even young moose. They hunt by wearing down their prey through relentless pursuit, sometimes tracking a single animal for days without rest. Days? Crix 2 sounded shaken. Without rest? The humans call them the most ferocious animal in the world. Yorp9 continued reading. Pound for pound. Nothing fights harder or refuses to give up more completely than a wolverine. Show me their territorial behavior, Zef7 ordered. The next set of data made the bridge fall completely silent. Wolverines maintain territories spanning hundreds of square kilometers. They would fight any intruder regardless of size that entered their domain. Males had been documented fighting to the death over territory and mates, never retreating even when facing impossible odds. There's more, Yorp9 said hesitantly. Human folklore and scientific records both describe wolverines as practically fearless. They've been observed breaking into human shelters, tearing through metal and wood to reach food stores. Some reports describe them attacking vehicles that entered their territory. Vehicles? Tan5 leaned forward. As in mechanical constructs larger than themselves? Affirmative. There are documented cases of wolverines attacking snowmobiles, all-terrain vehicles, and even construction equipment that encroached on their range. Dr. Vex 4 was frantically running calculations on his datapad. Commander, I need to revise my assessment. Based on this new information, wolverines display aggression levels comparable to our own Class A combat species. Their refusal to retreat or submit matches the psychological profile of elite military units from the most warrior-focused civilizations in the galaxy. You're saying this 20-kilogram furball has the fighting spirit of a Klingon battlemaster? Crix 2 asked incredulously. I'm saying it exceeds that standard, Dr. Vex 4 replied grimly. Even Klingons withdraw when facing hopeless odds. Wolverines don't. Commander Zef7 stared at the frozen image of the wolverine in the holographic display. How many of these creatures exist on Earth? Current population estimates range between 20,000 and 30,000 individuals, Yorp9 reported. 30,000, Zef7 repeated slowly. Earth has 30,000 predators that would challenge a fully armed galactic survey team without hesitation. Sir, Chief Medical Officer Plex 8 interjected, there's something else. I've been analyzing the encounter data, and the Wolverine showed clear signs of tactical thinking. It tested our defenses systematically, adapted its attack strategy when the first approach failed, and attempted to find weaknesses in our energy field. Intelligent as well as fearless, Dr. Vex 4 murmured. Commander, we need to reassess our entire understanding of Earth's ecosystem. If wolverines exist, Tan5 said thoughtfully, and they're apparently common knowledge among humans, why aren't the humans more afraid of them than tigers and bears? Yorp9 consulted the human databases again. Interesting. Humans do fear wolverines, but they encounter them less frequently due to the remote nature of wolverine habitats. However, human survival guides consistently rank wolverine encounters as more dangerous than bears or large cats. More dangerous than bears, Crix 2 repeated. The same bears that humans establish protected zones to avoid. And the humans know this, Dr. Vex 4 added. They're fully aware that their planet contains creatures like Wolverines. Yet they still venture into space exploration, still maintain scientific outposts in Wolverine territories, still conduct research in Arctic regions where these predators live. The implications hung heavy in the air. If humans knew about Wolverines, creatures that would terrify most galactic species, and still chose to explore, research, and push boundaries, what did that say about human courage? Sir, Dr. Vex 4 said quietly, I think we need to reconsider our assessment of both Earth's wildlife and human psychological resilience. Commander F7 continued staring at the Wolverine image. The small dark eyes seemed to look directly back at him through the hologram, carrying the same fearless challenge that had shocked his crew on the planet's surface. Delay our departure, he finally ordered. I want a complete review of every predator species on this planet. And this time scan for behavioral patterns, not just size and physical capabilities. Sir, Crix 2 ventured, if we've been wrong about the Wolverines, what else might we have missed? It was a question that would haunt Commander F7 for the rest of his career. Earth had just revealed its first true secret, and he was beginning to suspect it would not be the last. In the depths of space, a survey mission that had begun with arrogant certainty was transforming into something else entirely. A lesson in humility that would echo through the galactic community for generations to come. Dr. Vex 4 adjusted the atmospheric scanner as their shuttle descended toward the northern Canadian wilderness. This was the final survey mission before departure, a routine sweep of the planet's remote regions to ensure they hadn't missed any significant species. The forest below stretched endlessly, a blanket of snow-covered evergreens broken only by frozen streams and rocky outcroppings. Why are we bothering with this wasteland? Lieutenant Crix 2 asked from the pilot's seat. We've already cataloged their major predators. What could possibly be hiding in this frozen nowhere that would change our assessment? Commander's orders, Dr. Vex 4 replied, though he privately agreed with her assessment. Complete documentation requires surveying all major biomes. Besides, cold climates often produce the hardiest specimens a planet has to offer. Hardiest being relative, Crix 2 muttered. Their hardy polar bear was still just an oversized scavenger. The shuttle's bioscanners swept the terrain below, identifying various life signs moving through the forest. Most were small creatures, what humans called squirrels, rabbits, and birds. Nothing that registered as significant until a new contact appeared on the scanner. Wait, Dr. Vex 4 said, studying the readout. There's something unusual here. Setting down for closer examination. The shuttle touched down in a small clearing surrounded by thick pines. Snow crunched under their boots as the two aliens disembarked, their environmental suits automatically adjusting to the sub-zero temperature. Dr. Vex 4 activated his portable scanner while Crix 2 kept watch. The signal is coming from that direction. Dr. Vex 4 pointed toward a cluster of fallen logs about 50 meters away. Medium-sized mammal, approximately 20 kilograms. Probably another irrelevant scavenger, but we should document it for completeness. They approached cautiously, more out of habit than any sense of danger. After days of cataloging Earth's laughably harmless wildlife, neither expected anything remotely threatening. The scanner indicated the creature was moving among the deadfall, likely searching for food. There, Crix 2 pointed to a dark shape moving between the logs. Looks like a small bear variant. Probably feeds on insects and berries like the others. Dr. Vex 4 activated his recording equipment and zoomed in for a better look. The creature that came into focus was unlike anything they had encountered on Earth so far. Stocky and powerful, with dark brown fur and a distinctive light stripe running from head to tail, it moved with a confidence that seemed out of place among Earth's other wildlife. Interesting body structure, Dr. Vex 4 observed. Compact but muscular. Look at those claws. They're designed for digging and climbing, but they're substantial enough for... The Wolverine looked up directly at them. For a moment, neither alien nor animal moved. The Wolverine's small dark eyes seemed to assess the two strange beings standing in its territory. Then something happened that neither Dr. Vex 4 nor Lieutenant Crix 2 had expected in their wildest imaginings. The Wolverine didn't run. Instead, it stood its ground, ears flattened against its head, and let out a low growl that seemed far too menacing for a creature of its size. The sound carried clearly across the snow, a rumbling threat that spoke of absolute fearlessness. That's unusual, Dr. Vex 4 said slowly. Every other species we've encountered has either fled or ignored us entirely. Maybe it's rabid, Crix 2 suggested. Diseased animals often behave irrationally. The Wolverine's response was to advance 3 steps toward them, its growl deepening. There was nothing diseased or irrational about its movement. It was deliberate, controlled, and utterly without fear. Dr. Vex 4, Crix 2 said, her voice taking on a note of concern. I'm reading elevated stress hormones in the creature, but not the biochemical markers of disease. It's angry, not sick. Angry at what? We haven't threatened it. I don't think it cares. As if to prove her point, the Wolverine began moving toward them with purposeful steps. Its gait was not the frantic scramble of a fleeing animal or the cautious approach of a curious one. It was the measured advance of a predator that had decided these intruders needed to leave. Immediately. This doesn't make sense, Dr. Vex 4 muttered, checking his scanner readings again. It's only 20 kilograms. We each weigh 5 times that amount. We're obviously not prey animals. And we're wearing full environmental suits. Any rational creature should be retreating. Maybe Earth animals aren't rational, Crix 2 replied, taking an involuntary step backward. The Wolverine closed half the remaining distance, and its growl escalated to what could only be described as a roar. Despite its small size, the sound carried such primal fury that both aliens felt their instinctive threat responses activating. It's challenging us, Dr. Vex 4 said in disbelief. A 20-kilogram mammal is actively challenging 2 armored beings 10 times its size. Should we tranquilize it for study? Crix 2 asked, though her hand moved, instinctively toward her weapon. Wait, let's see what it does next. What it did next would haunt both aliens for the rest of their lives. The Wolverine charged, not the desperate rush of a cornered animal, but the calculated attack of a creature that had assessed the threat and decided to eliminate it. It covered the remaining distance in seconds, moving with surprising speed for its build. At the last moment, Dr. Vex 4 activated his suit's energy field, creating a barrier between them and the attacking animal. The Wolverine hit the energy field with the force of a small missile. Instead of being stunned or thrown back like every other Earth creature they had tested, it simply rebounded, regrouped, and immediately launched another attack. The field held, but the Wolverine's claws sparked against the energy barrier as it tried to tear through. Impossible, Dr. Vex 4 breathed. It's not retreating. The energy field should have discouraged it completely. It's trying to find a way around the barrier, Crix 2 observed, watching the Wolverine circle them with predatory intensity. Look at its movement pattern. It's analyzing our defenses. The Wolverine feinted left, then darted right, testing different angles of approach. When the energy field extended to block each attempt, the creature stood back and seemed to consider its options. Its eyes never left the 2 aliens, and the fury in its gaze was unmistakable. Dr. Vex 4, Crix 2 said quietly. I think we need to leave. Now. But this is fascinating. We need to study this behavioral anomaly. No, Crix 2 said firmly. We need to get back to the shuttle before that thing figures out how to get through our defenses. As if responding to her words, the Wolverine suddenly charged again, this time leaping high and coming down on top of the energy field. The barrier held, but the creature's weight and momentum created a depression that brought it within centimeters of Dr. Vex 4's helmet. For a brief, terrifying moment, Alien and Wolverine stared at each other through the energy field. The Wolverine's eyes held no fear, no uncertainty, no doubt about its ability to destroy these intruders if given the chance. Only pure focused rage and an absolute refusal to back down. Move. Crix 2 shouted, and both aliens began backing toward their shuttle. The Wolverine followed, pacing them step for step, never more than a few meters away. It tested the energy field twice more during their retreat, each time with the same fearless aggression that had marked its initial charge. Only when they reached the shuttle and sealed the airlock did the Wolverine finally stop its pursuit. But it didn't leave. It sat in the snow 20 meters away, watching them with unblinking intensity, ready to resume the fight the moment they emerged. By the eternal stars, Dr. Vex 4 whispered as their shuttle lifted off. What kind of creature attacks something it can't possibly defeat and refuses to give up, even when faced with impossible odds? Crix 2 was already running scans on their encounter data. According to my readings, that animal never showed any fear response. None. Its stress levels indicated readiness for combat, but there was no flight instinct whatsoever. As their shuttle climbed toward orbit, both aliens stared down at the small figure still visible in the clearing below. The Wolverine hadn't moved. It was still watching, still ready, still absolutely unafraid. For the first time since arriving at Earth, Dr. Vex 4 began to wonder if they had been making a terrible mistake. Commander Zeph 7 stood before the massive holographic display in the ship's primary communication chamber, adjusting his ceremonial uniform one final time. In a few moments, he would be addressing the High Council of the Galactic Federation, 12 of the most powerful beings in known space. The weight of representing his entire survey mission pressed down on him, but he felt confident in his conclusions. Establishing quantum link to Council Chambers, announced. Communications Officer Flux 3. Connection. Stable across 40,000 light-years. The display shimmered and resolved into the circular chamber of the High Council. 12 different species sat in their designated seats, each representing billions of citizens across hundreds of worlds. At the center, Chancellor Morth Prime of the Andromedan Collective called the session to order. Commander Zeph 7 of Survey Fleet 7. The Chancellor's voice resonated through the quantum link. You have requested an emergency session to discuss the petition for membership from the species known as humans, located in the Sol system. Present your findings. Zeph 7 activated his prepared presentation. The holographic display in the council chamber filled with images of Earth and its wildlife. Honored counselors, after comprehensive study of the planet designated Earth and its dominant species, I must recommend immediate rejection of their membership application and implementation of protective quarantine protocols. A murmur ran through the council. Counselor Vrak 9 of the Rigelian Empire leaned forward. Protective quarantine? That classification is reserved for species too dangerous for contact or too vulnerable to survive it. Which category do you believe applies? The latter, Your Excellence. The humans are perhaps the most vulnerable intelligent species we have ever encountered. They lack natural defenses, possess primitive technology, and display pathological fear responses to their own planet's wildlife. Explain this last point, demanded Counselor Zest 4 of the Crystalline Hegemony. Fear of wildlife suggests either the presence of exceptionally dangerous predators or exceptional cowardice. Zeph 7 triggered the next part of his presentation. Images of Earth's predators began cycling through the display. As you can see, neither applies. These are examples of what humans consider their most dangerous predators. The great white shark appeared first, its mouth agape. This aquatic hunter weighs approximately 2,000 kilograms and possesses rows of sharp teeth. Yet it has no energy weapons, no protective armor, and no ranged capabilities beyond swimming speed. Primitive but not entirely harmless, observed Counselor Quinn 2 of the Tau-Cedian Republic. What is the human response to such creatures? They have constructed extensive barrier systems around their coastal areas and maintain constant surveillance for shark presence. Entire industries exist solely to warn humans when these creatures are nearby. Several counselors exchanged incredulous looks. On their worlds, creatures 10 times more dangerous than sharks were considered minor nuisances at best. Perhaps their terrestrial predators are more formidable, suggested Counselor Hex 7 of the Beta Centauri Alliance. The display shifted to show the polar bear. This is their largest land predator, weighing up to 700 kilograms. The humans have established protected zones around their habitats and issue severe warnings against any contact. Protected zones? Counselor Vrak 9 sounded puzzled. They protect themselves from a single creature weighing less than our personal security droids. Correct. They recommend immediate evacuation if one is spotted, and consider any encounter potentially fatal. Show us more, Chancellor Morth Prime commanded, though his tone suggested growing disbelief. The presentation continued with tigers, lions, wolves, and eagles. With each image, the Council's astonishment grew. These creatures, which would barely register as threats on any civilized world, were treated by humans as apex predators to be feared and avoided. Counselors, Zeph 7 continued, it gets worse. The humans themselves possess no natural defenses. No claws, no armor plating, no venom, no size advantage. They require artificial coverings to survive weather variations and artificial tools to hunt creatures smaller than themselves. How did such a vulnerable species achieve intelligence? Asked Counselor Prism 5 of the Silicon Confederacy. Unknown, Your Excellence. It appears to be an evolutionary anomaly. They reached intelligence despite rather than because of their survival capabilities. What about their courage? Inquired Counselor Dex 3 of the warrior clans. Surely they compensate for physical weakness with exceptional bravery. ZEF-7 activated recordings of human reactions to wildlife encounters. The council watched in stunned silence as humans fled from animals that wouldn't threaten their youngest offspring. Video after video showed humans displaying obvious terror at creatures that barely qualified as predators. As you can see, ZEF-7 explained, their fear responses are completely disproportionate to actual threat levels. This suggests a species-wide psychological dysfunction that would make them unsuitable for contact. With genuine predators found throughout Federation. Space. Fascinating, murmured Counselor Vex Prime of the Academic Collective. A sapient species afraid of its own planet's fauna. How do they function as a civilization? They have developed extensive technological countermeasures, ZEF-7 replied. Barriers, warning systems, weapons specifically designed to repel their own wildlife. It's as if their entire technological development has been driven by fear rather than exploration or improvement. Chancellor Morth Prime consulted his datapad. Your recommendation? Permanent quarantine, Chancellor. Not because they're dangerous, but because they're psychologically fragile. Exposure to actual galactic predators would likely cause species-wide panic or psychological collapse. We would essentially be subjecting them to trauma they couldn't comprehend or survive. What about their petition for membership? Asked Counselor Flux 8 of the Trade Federation. Denied. They possess no strategic value, no unique resources, and no capabilities that would benefit the Federation. Their technology is millennia behind standard, their military capacity is negligible, and their courage is questionable. The council chamber fell silent as each member considered the implications. Never before had they encountered an intelligent species so thoroughly dominated by fear of their own environment. There is wisdom in protecting them from experiences they cannot handle, Chancellor Morth Prime finally declared. A species afraid of such harmless creatures would indeed suffer greatly if exposed to the realities of galactic life. I have prepared a complete biological survey for your review, ZEF-7 continued. Every significant predator species on their planet is documented, along with human responses to each. The pattern is consistent: disproportionate fear, elaborate avoidance strategies, and total inability to coexist peacefully with their own wildlife. This is unprecedented, observed Counselor Zest-4. In 50,000 years of galactic civilization, we have never encountered intelligent cowards. Perhaps, suggested Counselor Vrak-9, we should study them further. Such an unusual evolutionary path might provide valuable scientific insights, from a safe distance only. ZEF-7 recommended firmly. Direct contact would be cruel to a species so obviously unprepared for the realities of an inhabited galaxy. Chancellor Morth Prime called for a preliminary vote. All in favor of rejecting the human membership petition pending complete psychological evaluation? 11 hands rose immediately. Only Counselor Vex Prime abstained. Motion carried. Commander ZEF-7, complete your survey and file your final report. This species will be classified as protected, quarantined until further notice. Thank you, counselors. ZEF-7 replied, satisfaction evident in his voice. I'll have the final documentation ready within 2 planetary rotations. As the quantum link closed, ZEF-7 felt the pride of a job well done. He had protected both the Federation and humanity from an encounter that would have benefited neither. The humans could continue their fearful existence on their safe little world, while the galaxy remained free from the chaos their presence would inevitably cause. He had no way of knowing that his final survey day would include an encounter that would make him question every assumption he had just presented to the highest authority in known space. The survey continued for 3 Earth days, with the alien crew systematically cataloging every significant life form on the planet. Dr. Vex-4 had organized the data into neat categories, each one more disappointing than the last. The ship's conference room buzzed with quiet conversation as the senior staff reviewed their findings. Aquatic predators, Dr. Vex-4 announced, manipulating the holographic display with practiced ease. A great white shark materialized in the center of the room, its mouth open to reveal rows of triangular teeth. Maximum length approximately 6 meters, weight up to 2,200 kilograms. Hunts primarily by ambush. Weapons Officer Tan-5 leaned forward, studying the creature with professional interest. Those teeth look sharp enough, but the delivery system is pathetic. No ranged capability, no armor, no backup weapons. On Zerion Prime, our pondfish have better offensive capabilities. The humans call them great whites, Dr. Vex-4 continued. They consider them among the most dangerous creatures in their oceans. Dangerous? Lieutenant Crix-2 activated her personal scanner and ran a quick analysis. Commander, I could kill this creature with my bare hands. Its hide appears to be ordinary skin. No protective plating whatsoever. Commander Zef-7 didn't look up from his data pad. What about their aerial predators? Surely something that mastered flight would pose a greater threat. The display shifted to show a golden eagle soaring through mountain air. This appears to be their primary avian hunter. Wingspan roughly 2 meters, capable of diving at speeds up to 320 kilometers per hour. 2 meters? Technician Yorp-9 sounded incredulous. My personal transport drone is larger than that. What damage could such a tiny creature possibly inflict? According to human records, they hunt small mammals and occasional fish, Dr. Vex-4 replied. Their primary weapons are curved talons and a hooked beak. The bridge crew exchanged glances that conveyed volumes about their collective opinion. On their homeworlds, flying predators were massive creatures with razor wings and breath that could melt steel. The eagle looked like a decorative ornament by comparison. Show me something. From their northern regions, ordered Zef-7. Cold. Climates usually produce hardier specimens. Polar bear appeared in the hologram, its white fur pristine against an Arctic background. The creature reared up on its hind legs, revealing its impressive size. Now this is more promising, Crix-2 observed. At least it's properly sized. Weight? Approximately 700 kilograms for a large male, Dr. Vex-4 reported. They're adapted for cold weather hunting, primarily feeding on seals. Powerful limbs, sharp claws, excellent sense of smell. Finally, something that might actually fight back, Tan-5 said, though I notice it's hunting seals, not other predators. Where I come from, apex predators hunt each other. The humans consider polar bears extremely dangerous, Dr. Vex-4 added. They advise against any contact and have established protected zones around their habitats. Protected zones? Commander Zef-7 finally looked up from his pad. They protect themselves from a single species that weighs less than our standard cargo unit. It appears so, sir. Their literature contains numerous warnings about polar bear encounters. They recommend loud noises, flares, and immediate evacuation if one is spotted. The conference room fell silent. Even by their rapidly diminishing standards for human courage, this seemed excessive. A species that could split atoms and send signals across space was afraid of a large, furry quadruped. What about pack hunters? Asked Crix-2. Surely they have something that hunts in groups? The display changed to show a pack of wolves moving through snowy forest. Their gray forms moved with coordinated precision, clearly working together to track prey. Wolves, Dr. Vex-4 announced. They hunt in social groups called packs, typically numbering 6 to 12 individuals. Each wolf weighs 30 to 80 kilograms. They use teamwork and endurance to bring down larger prey. Tan-5 ran quick calculations on his scanner. So their most sophisticated pack predators are individual units weighing less than our junior officers, hunting in groups smaller than our bridge crew? Correct. And the humans fear these as well? Historically, yes. They've driven wolves to near extinction in many regions specifically because they were viewed as threats. Commander Zef-7 stood and walked to the viewing port, staring down at the blue and green world below. I'm beginning to understand why this species hasn't been contacted before. They're not just technologically primitive and physically weak, they're evolutionary failures. Any species that reaches intelligence while still cowering from such pathetic predators is clearly defective. Sir, Dr. Vex-4 ventured carefully, there might be environmental factors we're not considering. Perhaps their planet's conditions create different survival pressures. Different how? Zef-7 turned back to face his crew. Look at the data, Doctor. Their strongest predator weighs less than a single combat drone. Their fastest runner couldn't outpace our cargo haulers. Their most venomous creatures produce toxins that wouldn't affect our smallest children. The humans themselves are remarkably fragile, added Chief Medical Officer Plex-8, consulting her biological scans. No natural armor, no claws, no fangs, no protective hide. They require artificial covering just to survive their own planet's weather variations. Exactly my point, Zef-7 declared. We're dealing with a species so weak that their own world's wildlife, pathetic as it is, represents a genuine threat to them. How could such creatures possibly contribute to galactic civilization? Perhaps their intelligence compensates for their physical limitations, suggested Dr. Vex 4. Intelligence? Crix 2 laughed, a sound like breaking glass. They're afraid of animals that couldn't threaten an automated mining platform. Intelligence would have led them to eradicate such minor nuisances eons ago, not cower from them. The Federation has standards, Zeph 7 continued, warming to his theme. Members must demonstrate either superior technology, unique resources, strategic value, or exceptional courage. Humans possess none of these qualities. Their technology is primitive, their resources common, their strategic value non-existent, and their courage— He gestured dismissively at the holographic wolf pack. Speaks for itself. Should we continue the survey? Dr. Vex 4 asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. One more day, Zeph 7 decided. Document everything for the official report. The Council will want comprehensive evidence when we recommend permanent quarantine status for this system. Quarantine? Plex 8 looked surprised. Isn't that typically reserved for dangerous species? Dangerous to themselves, Zeph 7 clarified. A species this pathologically fearful could cause panic if they encountered real predators in civilized space. Imagine if these humans met a thoraxian hunting beast or a vegan crystal serpent. They'd probably die of fright before the creatures could even approach them. The meeting broke up with the crew more convinced than ever that Earth represented a cosmic joke, a planet where the apex predators were laughably weak and the intelligent species was even weaker. They returned to their stations, eager to complete their survey and leave this embarrassing corner of the galaxy behind. None of them suspected that in the remote forests of northern Canada, something moved through the snow that would soon make them question everything they thought they knew about strength, courage, and what it truly meant to be dangerous. The massive ship descended through Earth's atmosphere like a silver needle-piercing blue silk. Commander Zeph 7 stood at the observation deck, his 4 eyes scanning the planet below with barely concealed disdain. The third planet from this small star had been flagged for evaluation by the Galactic Survey Corps, and frankly he couldn't understand why. Primitive, he muttered, his translator converting the clicks and whistles of his native tongue into standard galactic. Look at those crude structures. No energy shields, no atmospheric processors, no sign of advanced technology. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Crix 2, joined him at the viewing port. Her silver skin shimmered as she adjusted her optical sensors. The initial scans show carbon-based lifeforms, Commander. Bipedal, relatively small. They call themselves humans. Humans, Zeph 7 repeated, tasting the word. How unimaginative. What about their defensive capabilities? Minimal, sir. They fight with metal projectiles and chemical explosives. No plasma weapons, no force fields, no quantum disruptors. Their military technology is at least 3,000 years behind galactic standard. Zeph 7 clicked his mandibles in amusement. And they want to join the Galactic Federation? The Council will laugh them out of the assembly hall. The ship settled into a hidden position above the planet's northern continent. Around them, the crew began their work with methodical precision. Scientists prepared their scanning equipment while cultural analysts studied intercepted transmissions. The humans below went about their daily lives, completely unaware that they were being watched and judged. Begin the wildlife survey, Zeph 7 ordered. If we're going to recommend against their membership, we need comprehensive data. Start with their apex predators. Show me what passes for dangerous on this backwater world. Dr. Vex 4, the expedition's chief biologist, activated the main scanner. Holographic displays filled the air around them, showing various creatures from across the planet. The first image materialized a large striped quadruped. This appears to be one of their primary predators, Dr. Vex 4 announced. The humans call it a tiger. It weighs approximately 300 of their kilograms and hunts using stealth and powerful jaws. Lieutenant Crix 2 studied the image, then burst into what passed for laughter among her species. That's their apex predator? Commander, my pet Grex from home is twice that size and has acid for blood. This creature looks like it couldn't harm a cargo loader. What else do they have? Zeph 7 asked, though his interest was already waning. The hologram shifted to show a massive gray creature with elongated facial features. They call this an elephant. It's herbivorous but can become aggressive when threatened. Weighs up to 6,000 kilograms. Herbivorous, Zeph 7 repeated slowly. Their largest land animal doesn't even eat meat. How do these humans survive with such pathetic creatures protecting them? Perhaps they don't need protection, suggested Dr. Vex 4. Our preliminary scans suggest the humans are the dominant species on their planet. Dominant over what? Crix-2 scoffed. Show me more. The displays continued cycling through Earth's wildlife. Lions lounging in the sun drew chuckles from the crew. Bears fishing in streams were dismissed as oversized scavengers. Even the great white sharks, Earth's ocean apex predators, were compared unfavorably to the biomechanical hunter-fish from the commander's homeworld. Sir, called Technician Yorp 9 from his station, I'm detecting something unusual in their information networks. The humans seem to fear many of these creatures, despite their obvious weakness. Fear? Zeph-7 was genuinely puzzled. They fear these animals? Have you checked your translation matrix? Perhaps you mean respect or admire. No, sir, definitely fear. They have entire industries built around protection from these creatures. They build barriers, carry weapons, and avoid certain areas specifically because of animal presence. The bridge fell silent except for the hum of equipment. Finally, Commander Zeph-7 spoke. Are you telling me that an intelligent species capable of spaceflight is afraid of animals that couldn't threaten a cub from any civilized world? That appears to be the case, sir. This is worse than we thought, Zeph-7 declared. Not only are their defensive capabilities primitive, but they're also cowards. What kind of species reaches for the stars while cowering from their own planet's wildlife? Dr. Vex-4 cleared his throat, a sound like grinding crystal. Commander, perhaps we should conduct a more thorough investigation. There might be factors we're not considering. What factors could possibly explain this level of timidity? The commander's disgust was evident in every syllable. No, Doctor. I've seen enough. These humans are clearly unsuited for galactic society. They lack both the strength and courage necessary for membership in the Federation. Should we continue the survey? Dr. Vex-4 asked quietly. Continue for documentation purposes, Zeph-7 replied, already moving toward his command chair. But keep it brief. I want to file our report and leave this system within the rotation. The Council needs to know that humanity represents no threat and offers no value to the Federation. As the alien ship orbited silently above Earth, its crew continued their observations with growing disdain. In their advanced civilization, wildlife meant bioengineered predators capable of tearing through battle armor. Nature meant worlds where the very air could kill unprotected beings. To them, Earth seemed like a children's playground. Populated by harmless creatures and equally harmless humans, they had no way of knowing that they were making the greatest miscalculation in their species' history. Somewhere far below, in the frozen forests of the north, creatures moved through the snow that would soon redefine their understanding of what it meant to be dangerous. The Wolverines were going about their daily business, unaware that they were about to become the most feared animals in galactic history. But that revelation was still to come. For now, the aliens continued their survey, confident in their superiority and certain of their conclusions about Earth's pathetic wildlife.